Our happy Halloween season, everybody. I am excited for today's interview and discussion and chat. I mean, it's always fun to sit down with you, Scott, and just talk, spooky things. And 'tis the season. And so we have a guest that we've brought on. We're also going to look at a trailer for a new movie. It's supposed to be spooky, but with a very different, unique perspective. And so we're going to comment on that, and we're going to jump in talking about just horror in general, the horror that is life. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. No, horror movies and horror stories and spooky stuff. So Scott, you want to introduce who our special guest is?
Yeah, I am so excited. This is, again, just like when we had Chad Lewis on, this is somebody that I envisioned from the very start when we were first conceptualizing this show, somebody that I really want to have on. So this is a good friend of mine, first and foremost, but Patrick Gonder. He's a retired instructor of English and humanities at the College of Lake County. His scholarly work focuses on comic books and the horror genre. His essays have appeared in Genders and The Velvet Trap. And to read his bio, I just had to pick up my own book because this is the man I got to write the introduction to it, because I very much honor what he has to say. Patrick Gonder, the latest inductee to the Fantastic Story Society.
Yay.
Welcome.
Yay, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
As I mentioned in the intro, Patrick was a professor, an English professor, and I took multiple classes from him, and he had his focuses on horror or comic book or television, all of these, very specific things. So you could have an English Comp 101 class, but really focus to what the students and the teacher wanted to talk about.
Saved my life, being able to teach a class just on horror film and have the students all right with that instead of oh man, the thought of grading all those papers, it just made it so much easier when there was something about, like horror or comic books or something,
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so first we're going to look at the movie Good Boy. We're going to look at the trailer for it. This is something that we used to do. Max and I used to do trailer reactions for the ISA a lot. It's been probably a year since we've done one of these. Yeah. So it's kind of cool to get into it now. Max, have you seen this trailer yet?
And I have not seen the trailer. I've heard a lot about the movie, so I know the gist of the concept, but I don't know the trailer now.
And for myself, I read the concept just a few weeks ago, and as soon as I heard it, I thought, oh, we have to do a trailer reaction video. Yeah. The idea, and to me, there was no story even behind it, but this is a ghost story from the point of view of the family dog. And that just right away, I'm in. I want to see this. I can't wait. And now Patrick, coincidentally, just watched this movie yesterday.
Yeah, last night. We went out last night.
So we'll watch this trailer, and it'll be interesting because Max and I, we're seeing this blind. Patrick, you can kind of comment on it without too many spoilers about like how it represents the film or something.
Sure.
But let's bring this up.
Do it. Oh my God. It's adorable.
It's just not fair already.
Look who's here.
Oh gosh. Love it.
I guess I'm next. I should never have come here.
Okay. I mean,
how interesting how slow the trailer was at first.
Right.
Boy, I guess I didn't really know how they were. I'm more intrigued just how they're going to shoot this. Like I thought it was literally going to be through his eyes or something.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, that's going to get old.
Although they do keep the camera for the most part at the level of a dog.
Oh, okay.
So you almost never see the actors' faces, except for a few cases.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So obviously there's dialogue, but I can't imagine there's that much dialogue.
No, there
Yeah.
isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me think of Steven Soderbergh's Presence,
Right.
I
because
haven't
it's
seen that yet.
it's again, great concept. It's worth a look, 100% worth a look. I've got some problems with it. I feel like it could have used another rewrite or two, because it seemed like there were some, because of the nature of it, like you're saying, there's there can't be that much dialogue naturally if there's just this other entity and you're seeing it from this other entity's point of view. That person would have to be Johnny on the spot all the time to be getting all the bits of the story.
Yeah.
That there seem to be a couple of times where there's like, okay, here's a big exposition dump to get the story caught up so we can then go on to the next chunk.
Mm-hmm.
Still, again, worth watching, but it could have used a little more polish. I was kind of thinking that the slowness would be something that we see all the way through. So it was kind of exciting to see that, like real big action does happen in this at some point too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of wasn't sure.
It's pretty funny that they had a shot to make it seem like the dog was screaming in fear. That was pretty funny.
The first thing I thought of before watching the trailer is like, oh my gosh, this is such a brilliant, why didn't we think of this ourselves? Because especially when you're doing a supernatural story, you always have to worry about the idea of like an unreliable narrator. Is there somebody on drugs or mental illness? Is it all in their head? But when you have a dog has no bias, is just taking in, and we're just seeing, and also you usually as a writer, as a filmmaker, you have to do work to get the audience to care about your lead performer. And when it's a dog, you just love it immediately.
Oh, and you're doing this movie. Oh my God, you're doing this movie so much.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because for me, scary movies, whether it's straight horror or supernatural, paranormal, it's all about the relationships. For me, that's really what locks me into the story itself, as opposed to just the jump scares and the backstory of why the house is haunted or whatever. It's more about these people interacting with the situation and evolving and growing or whatever. So I obviously I haven't seen this. Patrick, I don't care if you give me spoilers or not, but I don't know who is he going to have a relationship with, and how is there an evolution as a relationship,
Well, a lot of it is about his loyalty and the dog's loyalty and affection and protectiveness of the main human character. So you feel so bad for Indy as he's trying to warn him, to protect him, and the main human character is deeply flawed. And so there are moments you just kind of, there are moments you really don't like him, but Indy is just dedicated to him, so the emotional arc is Indy's increasing attempts to try to help this guy, who doesn't even know the situation he's in until like it's almost till well into the movie.
It's very impressive to be able to shoot any movie with an animal, like in general.
Oh yeah.
And then to have it be the main character, even just and Scott, obviously you can speak to this more than I can, but just the specific production stuff and the shots and the editing and getting the dog to do what you want it to do, that in of itself is really impressive. If they're able to engage the audience for whatever, an hour plus, that would be a feat.
Well, and I was also thinking that this is probably the last time we'll see something like this, because in the future, if they wanted to make this movie, even if they wanted to make this movie today, it would be an AI dog.
This is true.
So I mean, the fact that we really have, and you can tell, you could tell that's a real dog.
Yeah,
that's a real yeah.
So I mean, it is it's a feat. You're absolutely right. It is a feat doing something like this. All the different movies and TV shows I've worked on, there's rarely ever, I did work on, I guess I made up for it. I was gonna say there's rarely ever been a dog on it. However, or an animal at all in these films, because it is such an issue. But then I did work on Beverly Hills Chihuahua Part 2. So I guess I made up for all the lost time. And that was a blast. That was like one of the best sets ever, because you're just surrounded by dogs all the time.
I will say this, make sure you stay till after the credits.
Oh.
because they end up doing a little featurette about how this worked and how they did it. And it took 4 years.
Wow.
But I cannot recommend this, state this strongly enough. Do not watch that featurette before you watch the film.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And you'll know why afterward.
So that tells me then there's a little twist and surprise.
Well, it's not about, I don't want to say anything. It's not about a twist in the movie. It's just the featurette shows you things and how they did it that if you knew it would seriously undermine the film.
Okay. I can see that.
And you'll know I don't want to say anything. You'll know exactly what I mean
Okay.
Yes.
when you see this featurette. And by the way, you'll love this dog in the movie. After you see the featurette, you'll love him even more. Yeah.
Wow.
That's great.
Well, so when you watch the trailer now after watching the movie, Patrick, like does it feel like the trailer does it justice, or the tone and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's a good. I hadn't seen the trailer because I wanted to see this movie so badly that I didn't watch anything about it before I went. I wanted to go in stone cold, and I just I love the trailer. I love that good and bop bop bop. You know, that was really a well done little trailer trick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think so. Although I think it's the movie's quieter than and then speaking of dogs, my dog just came
I
running
hear
up
him,
the
yeah.
stairs. You heard her running up the stairs. It's a much quieter movie than the trailer makes it seem like. It does have, you know, some really tense moments, but it's not you know, it's not a loud movie,
Yeah.
which
I
works
can
in
see
its
that.
favor.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I mean, tonally, it matters. And by the way, just looking at the writers, co-written Alex Cannon and Ben Leonberg, both of those guys have a background as camera operators. So I wonder if there is just, you know, coming from that space of knowing how to frame things, telling story visually, that has to be important. You know, that part of their history has to have been important with this film.
Oh yeah, it's like you were saying, Max. It's not this obnoxious thing. It feels, the camera angles and the camera framing feels completely organic, and it makes it scarier because sometimes you're not seeing things that normally you would see.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Scott, I'm not surprised that they have a background in that because it was really well done.
I wish I could remember what movie it was, but there's a movie where there's a shot that is from the hallway looking into a bedroom, and the door is just barely cracked open, and the couple is having a conversation, not in the crack. They're just off to the side a little bit. And apparently when this first ran, everybody in the audience started leaning. That just, I mean, there's something beautiful about how you can manipulate and get the people to lean in on something like that when
Yeah.
it's just out of frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
I should try to I have to find the script to this. It'd be very interesting to see what the script looks like. If it's written by two camera operators, I bet it was very camera focused.
Well, especially if they knew they were going to direct it themselves. They weren't trying to sell it
right,
off. Yeah.
Right.
And very little dialogue.
Yeah. Right. I bet it was like 75 pages long or something. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm intrigued, and it's perfect time in terms of, you know, Halloween season coming out here. I liked it.